Hi everyone, it's Sam. So welcome back to another class. So today we're going to work into a nice juicy lower body stretch. So this will be a bit of a flow still, but then we'll stop to hold certain asanas, certain postures for a little bit longer, just to give us a bit of space to breathe into it and allow that space and that time for our body to extend and to relax. So yeah, when you are ready, it'd be good if you could have today a block, a strap or something that is quite similar, and then also what will be really good is if you have a blanket, and if you could roll up the blanket, so something that is roughly about this width, so it can be a towel, it can be a blanket, making sure that it's not too big. We'll be using that a little bit later as an option. So yeah, if you have those to hand, especially a strap at the start, that will be really good. And then we'll get started lying down on our backs. So when you have everything and you're ready, come to join me on the mat. Lowering the body down. And then taking the feet out wide here, and just allow the knees to rest in towards the centre. And then taking the arms down beside you, maybe palms facing up to the sky, or maybe palms down, wherever your energy is today. Closing down the eyes. And then start to bring your attention inwards. Noticing the earth beneath you, grounding you down onto your mat. And as you ground down here, can you allow that body to just release a little bit? Let it sink into the earth beneath you. Letting go of anything that you might be holding on to. And start to check in with your body today, with your mind. So how are you feeling mentally, physically, emotionally? Where are you coming into the practice today? Just notice this. And start to bring your attention towards your breath. Feeling that belly inflate, the chest rise on the inhale. The chest lower, the belly deflate on the exhale. Drawing your attention to that rhythm of the breath, the cadence of the breath. Now can you start to elongate the breath, so making it a little bit deeper. Inhaling right from your belly all the way up into the chest, feeling it go to the crown of the head. And then exhaling through the nose, all the way back down towards the hips. Take a couple rounds of this breath. Today I really want us to focus on using the breath as our guide. So often when we can hold quite deep stretches, we might try and overexert ourselves, maybe let the ego creep in a little bit. See if you can maybe notice this today in yourself. And using the breath as that tool, so try and keep with this calm, easy, steady breath throughout the practice. And start to deepen that inhale. We'll take it for 4 counts, we'll hold, and then we'll exhale for 4 counts and hold. So starting to introduce a bit of Samvriti breathing. We'll take 4 counts, then we'll progress to 5, and then we'll progress to 6. If anything feels too much, know that you can stick with 4, or you can just come back to that gentle breath. So breathing in for 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1, hold. For 5, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. Exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 6 this time. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. And exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold. Nice. Maybe taking your hands to your belly now. Just coming back to that gentle, easy inhale and exhale. And then gently starting to blink open the eyes here. Maybe gently turning the head from side to side. Just giving a little bit of a release to the neck. And from here, draw your knees in. Take your hands around your shins. Give yourself a nice squeeze. And then maybe taking some circles. One direction with the lower back. And then in the other direction. Taking it where it feels nice, waking the body up. And then keeping hold of this right leg. Start to extend that left leg out long towards the mat. You take an inhale to prepare. And as you exhale, start to draw that right knee towards your chest or maybe your right armpit. So this is just about where feels right for you. Breathe in here. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And start to extend that right leg up to the sky. So at any point you can always bend this left knee if that feels better for you. Otherwise, keeping it out long, start to point and flex through the right foot. This should feel a little bit nice, maybe noticing the depth when we flex the foot, and then taking some circles in one direction and then in the opposite direction. And here, options of either taking hand behind the thigh, the calf, the ankle, or maybe using the strap. So taking the strap around the arch of the foot, so just below the ball of the foot here. Maybe taking the hands, and I like to wrap it round here once, just so I feel like I'm not having to massively pull the strap. I can almost then allow my arms to just release a little bit. So we inhale, prepare, keeping that left leg active as well, flexing through the right foot. And we exhale, start to draw that right leg towards you. So maybe we start to find that place of resistance here. So when you get to that place, notice it. Notice what's going on in your body, your breath. And then maybe we start to take little micro movement, finding a little bit more space as long as we can maintain that breath. One more breath here. Nice. Then taking the strap in both hands, if you've taken the strap, maybe holding onto the big toe with your peace fingers or holding onto the outside of the leg. And we're going to start to take that right leg out towards the right side. So taking the left hand and place it down on towards the hip. So as you start to extend that right leg over towards the right, notice this left hip grounding down. So the minute we start to lift, we've gone a bit too far, so we'll take it back. So we really want to find that grounding through left hip, opening through the right. And then breathing into this space. Maybe closing the eyes if that feels good for you. Noticing all these sensations going on. Maybe notice a little bit of heat start to rise in the body. One more breath. And wherever you are, gently, slowly start to take it all the way back up to centre. And from here, leveling out the hips, we're going to take the strap into the opposite hand now, or maybe holding on to the outside of the right thigh with left hand. Flexing through that right foot, I'm going to take it over towards the left. But as we do this, maybe you can just start to investigate this movement. So for me, just taking it over this left hip, flexing through the foot, and really feeling that stretch all the way down the outside of that right leg, all the way into the outside of the right glute. This can be quite a deep stretch, but keep with that breath. The path of most resistance is the space where we grow the most, so notice what's happening. Don't become too attached to the outcome. Just notice the sensations, the feeling in your body, and take it all the way back to center. Nice, amazing. Taking the strap down, just place it to the side if you have it, and bending that left foot in towards the left glute, keeping the right foot flexed. Place it on top of the left leg. This might be enough coming into figure 4 stretch, or taking that left knee in towards the chest, interlacing hands around the left calf. We inhale and exhale, start to draw that left knee towards you. As you do this, keep that right foot flexed and really focus on opening through that right hip as well. That should be a deeper stretch. If you feel like you need more of a stretch, you can always interlace the hands around the left shin. And this will take you a little bit deeper, but again, just working with your range of flexibility right now. Trusting the process. And then releasing it here. Wherever you are, take that right knee and cross it over the left thigh. So coming into a supine twist here. So you can either just have the legs crossed. If this doesn't feel right for you, then you can take your legs up to tabletop, take them across into twisted root. Otherwise, crossing it over maybe once, maybe twice, taking your eagle legs, whichever feels right, and then taking your arms out long or in cactus if you don't have enough space. We inhale, prepare. And as you exhale, just gently and softly start to allow those knees to rest over towards the left hand side. And this can be quite a deep stretch. So just again, taking it where it feels right for you. Sending your breath to those areas of tension, areas of tightness. Feel like you can breathe the tension away, allowing it to melt. One more breath here. Take it all the way back to center, nice. And then taking that right leg out long, maybe giving it a little shake if you need to, what's gone on in the right leg. And then we'll take it again on the other side. Drawing the left knee in towards your chest. We inhale, prepare. Exhale, start to draw it to chest or to left armpit. Keeping active through the right foot if you can. Allowing the breath to nourish you. And start to extend that left leg up to the sky. So you don't have to have it completely straight. There can be a bend in the knee. And we start to point and flex through that foot. Nice, getting everything engaged, letting it know what's waiting for it. And start to circle the ankle one direction and then the other direction. Noticing any clicks or anything that's going on. And then same thing on this side. So taking your hand placement to where feels right, or maybe taking the strap around the arch of the left foot. And again, we inhale, prepare. Flex through that foot, and as you exhale, start to allow that left leg to draw closer towards you, keeping the hips square. Again, find that place of resistance and start to ease off. As you inhale, can you create a little bit more space? As you exhale, can you allow your body to soften into it a little bit? Keep that breath steady. If we relax the mind, the body tends to follow. Take one more breath here. Nice. And then taking the left hand to the left foot or big toe, or holding the strap in the left hand, planting the right hand down onto that right hip for stability, and then go ahead and start to take that left leg all the way out to the side. And just noticing where that space is, that if you start to roll off, just come back, ease off. Breathing into this new space, maybe softening anything that doesn't need to be held here, so softening the jaw, softening the temples, the space between the eyebrow. And inhale, exhale, release. Take it all the way back to center. The right hand takes hold of the left thigh strap. And again, holding on here, whatever feels right, and then gently flexing through that left foot, start to take it over toward the right. And again, this might just be the littlest of movements. And really notice that how we're still lying down here and we're building heat. Breathing into it, be present. And take it all the way back to center, nice, releasing the strap if you have it. And planting that right foot down, take the left leg over, keep the foot flexed, taking your variation of figure 4 stretch. Inhale, prepare, and exhale to draw that knee in. And again, opening through that left hip. Can you drop into the pose a little bit more? Working progressively, finding that space between effort and ease, that equilibrium. And releasing off here, taking your supine twist, so crossing over the left, over the right, whichever variation, and then dropping the legs all the way over toward the right. And breathing into it here. Starts to open up the lower back as well. So working through a bit of our posterior chain as well, helping to release that lower body. One more breath. And start to take it all the way back to center. Nice. Releasing those feet. Take the hands underneath the thighs and we'll rock all the way up to seated. Amazing. Coming into a bit of a yin posture with our blanket. So taking the blanket we prepared earlier and gonna work into releasing the calves and the hamstrings at the same time. And so this again can feel quite deep but also quite restorative. So we take our feet hips distance apart, take the knees hips distance, and we take our blanket in between the space between our back of the thighs and between our calves. So just behind the knee. You might want to adjust this to feel right for you. And then we start to sit back onto the blanket. So if anything feels a bit painful or a bit intense here, then maybe unraveling the blanket a bit. Maybe just come in to sit down in this kneeling pose if it feels a bit much. Again, just sitting here. Be here for 5 breaths. So maybe you want to use this time to set an intention for the rest of the practice. Maybe moving with your breath as your guide. maybe really feeling into the postures today rather than focusing on getting the full range, the full extent of what the pose should maybe look like. You check in with your breath here. Feeling that release as we almost can surrender into this. One more deep breath, inhaling. And exhale, open the mouth, sigh out. Nice, amazing guys. And start to shift the weight forward, taking the blanket from beneath you and then just placing it over to the side. Coming all the way into your tabletop position. Nice. Taking a couple rounds of cat-cow here. So making sure we've got the hips stacked over the knees, shoulders over the wrists. As you inhale, the tailbone lifts, the chest reaches through, the gaze goes up to the sky. As you exhale, tuck under the tailbone, push away through shoulder blades, gaze to your belly. And take a couple more rounds of this breath with this movement. So this can look like this today, or maybe you want to add a little bit more on. So really focusing on what the body needs. So maybe taking some rolls, dropping down towards the forearm, shifting the weight back and forward. Make this completely suit your body. Noticing all the little pops of air in your body maybe. And reversing the direction. Maybe getting a little bit of weight into those hands if that's something that you want to mobilize, you want to work through today. Nice, and coming all the way back to your tabletop. Keeping your foundation, start to extend that left leg behind you, tucking the left toes under. So keeping everything square, push down through the mat, arch through the back, so it's like we're taking that cat back, we're pushing away, and then we push back through that left heel. So finding that nice stretch through the back of the left hamstring. And breathing into that space. Shifting the weight slightly forward, pivot that back foot so that it comes down towards the mat, and we inhale the left arm up to the sky. So we should feel a nice stretch down the outside of the left hip here. And then maybe you can lower your sit bones all the way down from here. Coming into Parivrtta Janusasana, so taking hold of the ankle, maybe forearm down, maybe the hand down, lift up and out through that right arm, and then we exhale, keep that chest lifted, shoulder roll back. Find that nice side body stretch. And then we move through the wild thing variation to our side stretch for 3 rounds. So right hand plants, the left arm lifts up. Exhale, sweep it down, lean it over. Nice. 2 more. Inhale, we lift. Send those hips forward. Exhale, reach it over. 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, nice. Plant that right hand down and we pivot all the way back to our tabletop position. Nice. Maybe just taking 1 cat-cow, resetting through the spine. Come back to tabletop, start to extend the right toes back now. So again, cat back, push away through the right toes, pushing that right heel down. And we do the same thing on the right side. So pivot that back foot so it plants down and we inhale. Lift that right arm up to the sky, pushing down through the shin, through the tops of the feet. Inhale, and as you exhale, can you lower down towards your seat, place the right hand down, the left arm reaches up and over. Again, finding your variation here, your depth. Maybe the hand comes down, maybe reach all the way over. Maybe we're just reaching a little bit softer today. And move through those 3 rounds. So we inhale to sweep it up, hips go forward. Exhale, lower the seat, reach all the way up and over. Nice, 2 more, inhale. Exhale. 1 more, inhale, lift. Exhale, side bend. And plant the left hand down, the right hand comes all the way back over. Come back to our tabletop position. Start to walk the hands about another palm's distance in front of us. Keep the fingers spread wide. Grip hold of the mat. Wrap the triceps around and in. Tuck under the toes. Lift the knees, extend the sit bones high. Come to your first downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. And keeping this first down dog soft, so aiming to lengthen through the spine and then pedaling out those hamstrings. So you might notice as well how the hamstrings feel right now that we did quite a bit of work on them towards the start. So maybe they actually feel a little bit looser than they usually do in this pose. And come to stillness. Take the gaze in between the hands. Start to rise all the way up to tiptoes and tiptoe the feet behind the wrists. We inhale to lift and lengthen. And exhale, fold. Take a generous bend in the knees here. Allow belly to thigh connection. Stay in here to melt forward or hold on to opposite elbows. Sway from side to side. Ragdoll pose. Allowing that head to melt down. Heaviness coming forward here. Weight shifting forward. And then release in there. Start to roll the body all the way up to standing. Head and shoulders coming up last of all. Inhale the shoulders up and exhale shoulder blades down the back. We'll take a couple of rounds of half sun salutations here. So just moving through these again to just work through the body, warm it up. So starting in Uttadasana, toes together, heels slightly apart, or feet stacked underneath your hips. Tadasana pose. As you inhale, the arms reach high over Hastasana. Exhale, maybe keeping a bend in the knees, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, your variation of halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise all the way up, hands reach overhead. Exhale, fold all the way back down. Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, shift those thighs back. Keep that shift as you exhale. Inhale to rise all the way up. Exhale, take it down. Final round. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. From here, inhale back to our halfway. Then ground down through the right foot as you step the left toes towards the back of the mat. And then lower down onto that left knee. Inhale, the arms reach high, coming into our Anjaneyasana. So first of all, start to tuck that pelvis under here. So we're allowing that left thigh to scoop under, finding that nice stretch through the quads. Arms reach high. And then start to shift, sink those hips down. Maybe taking Kali Mudra with the arms. Breathe in here. Again, each inhale creates that space. And each exhale, can you sink a little bit deeper? One more. Keeping that slow and steady breath. And planting the hands down to the mat. Tucking under the back toes here. We inhale, lift through the chest. As you exhale, start to shift the sit bones back. Flexing through that right foot so you can keep a generous bend in the knee here. This might be enough. Or maybe you can allow that right hand to sweep all the way up and over. So finding this nice stretch through the outer hips, you should be feeling that. Again, if it gets too much, bend through that leg. Maybe come up onto a block. We'll move through that 2 more times. So we inhale, peel the chest up. Exhale, take it back. 1 more, inhale. Exhale, take it back. And hold in here for 2 breaths. 2 slow and steady breaths. Nice. And bending back into that leg. Lifting all the way back up, Anjaneyasana. So this might be enough for you if you're feeling quite a deep stretch through the left quad. Otherwise, if you want to start to work into that stretch a little bit more, start to place your right forearm towards your right thigh. This might be quite good to get the strap quite close now as well. So actually, before we move into it, start to take the strap around the front of the left foot, holding the strap in your left hand. So planting down that right forearm, down towards the right thigh. Really engaging through the hips here. So because we're stretching, we still need to keep that stability, that grounding. Maybe this is enough, or maybe you can start to take that left leg in towards the body. This should feel like a really juicy quad stretch here, nice. Let's see if you can breathe through it. Maybe you can draw the leg a little bit deeper. Again, just moving where feels right for you. This is a really deep stretch. Again, if it does not challenge you, then it doesn't change you. So just stay with it mentally, physically. Let that breath absorb everything that's going on in the body. 1 more breath. Nice, and then releasing that strap if you had it, or releasing the hand. And then plant that left foot down. That should feel nice and juicy. Tuck under that back toe and step that right foot back, downward facing dog. Pedaling out the legs here. That should feel really, really different from one side to the other. And just breathe in here, maybe shaking that leg out if that serves you. And take that left foot into the chest, and then lower that left foot in between the hands, maybe wiggle it there. Then lower that right knee down towards the ground. We inhale to rise all the way up, Anjaneyasana, other side. So maybe you can feel it a little bit more in this left hip as well, just from doing that work. So again, pushing out through that right quad. So we scoot that tailbone under. Should feel that quad engagement, that stretch through the right side. We inhale, maybe the arms come up, maybe taking Kala Mudra, and then exhale. Keeping this, allow the hips to then sink forward. Breathing here. Working into those layers. Working through those areas of resistance in your body, maybe in your mind. Just letting what happens happen. Trusting your body. Then plant the hands down. We inhale, lift the chest. As you exhale, tuck under the back foot. The back toes, start to extend that left foot. Maybe flexing through that foot. Keep a bend if you want. Stay here. We can start to peel that left arm all the way up. So finding that really juicy side stretch. Try and roll that left hip down here. Finding that nice intense stretch. Take it all the way back. Lift and lengthen through the chest. Exhale, sweep it back. 1 more, inhale. Exhale, hold it here for 2 breaths. Keeping it nice and controlled. Framing back that front foot, and we lift all the way back up to our lay lunge. So same thing on this side. So taking the left forearm to the left thigh. Again, taking the strap if you wish to. Otherwise, starting to point through that right foot and start to draw that right foot in towards the right glute. Finding that grounding. Maybe that right hand comes on the outside of the right ankle. And on each exhale, maybe it can come that little bit closer. Using the breath as your guide. One more. Working through it. And then gently, with control, releasing that foot. Framing that front foot, tuck under back toes, step back downward facing dog, nice. And roll it out here, maybe shaking the hips from side to side. Releasing anything that you need to here. And from here, start to bend the knees and roll, ripple into a plank position. Then lower the knees, untuck the toes, we take knees, chest, chin. So inhale to our cow back, we lower the chest and the chin in between the hands. Lower the hips and we snake all the way up, so push down through the hands, top of the feet, baby cobra. And exhale, release. And staying on our bellies. Start to roll onto your left hand side here. Planting the right hand down towards the right shoulder. And then wrapping that tricep round and up. So it's like we're just in a little side position here. And taking that left leg forward. And then drawing it in line with that left hip if you can. Grounding down through the sole of the left foot. Finding stability through the right hand, the right shoulder. Flex through that right foot. So maybe you can feel a little bit of intensity building here. And then go ahead and really ground through the feet here. We lift the hips high and we open out. So instead of taking the back bend variation, really focus on drawing the hip down here, finding that nice outer stretch. One breath. Then plant the hands down. Pivot the feet all the way around so both toes face the front of the mat. We inhale and we lift all the way up. Take the hands to our hips. We're coming into pyramid pose here. So taking the feet either hips distance or slightly further apart. We start to inhale, squeeze through the thighs as we extend the torso forward, parallel with the mat. So engaging everything here to lengthen, and then when you feel like this is the point where you feel the most engagement and you feel like this feels relatively comfortable, then you can start to extend all the way down. If you need to, you can take blocks either side here. Or taking the hands down and allow that head to melt down here. Breathe in here, and this is intense side stretch, so this really is getting deep into those muscles. Maybe you can flex through that left foot to get a nice juicy stretch through the calf. Staying with the breath. And wherever you are, bending into that back leg, coming onto the tiptoes of the right foot and walking your hands all the way back, flexing through that left foot. So coming into this one-legged balance here. So you can have the hands down on blocks, or maybe you can take your hands to your heart center. So a stretch and also a little balance. One more breath. And then releasing it down here, start to lower the sit bones all the way down to the mat. We're coming into Gomukhasana with the legs. So crossing that right knee over the left. This might be enough for you here. So if this feels right for you, then you shift the flesh from the sit bones to find that grounding. You can also prop up your sit bone if that feels a little bit uncomfy. Finding that stability. and moving forward. If you want to take full Gomukhasana, then start to bend that left foot in towards the left glute. We want to have the knees stacked on top of each other, feet flexed. So holding on to the ankles, maybe the hands are down. We inhale, lift and lengthen through the chest. And then we exhale, start to hinge forward. Again, this might be enough for you. Working with your levels. Working into those areas of tightness. And kind of embracing that, knowing that you're doing something good for your body. Again, the body follows the mind, so if you can calm down that chitter in the mind, in the brain, that'll start to be reflected in the body, in the breath. One more breath. Then rising all the way back up, wherever you are. Then taking the hands all the way to the left now. So coming into a little bit of a funky transition. So walk the hands all the way around to the left. We ground down through the hands. We start to unwind towards the back of our mat. Then we keep walking the hands all the way round, round, round. Until we find Gomukhasana on the other side. Hopefully. If not, don't worry, it's fine. Just take it on the other side, just an optional transition. And again, you don't have to have the full variation. Take it to where it feels right for you. Finding your grounding here. Find where it feels right for you. Inhaling, prepare. And then exhaling, sending the weight forward if that feels okay. And settling in here. Balancing out the left and the right. Noticing anything that your body might be trying to tell you right now. Two more breaths here. Keep them soft, keep them controlled. And then gently with ease start to move all the way back out. Extending through the spine, nice. Then from here, start to take the hands behind you and allow those legs to reach out long in front, nice. Maybe giving your legs a little shake out here, releasing that tension. They've had a lot of work up to now. Amazing, a little bit more to go. So coming into our forward fold, our Paschimottanasana. So again, take it if it's quite familiar with you. You're welcome to take it, have some longer breaths here. You can take a block here, which is a really nice variation, just to give you a little bit of length through the sit bones. And then go ahead and take the strap if that's where you are. You might want to keep a little bend in the knees. Again, taking that hold of the strap. We lift and lengthen through the chest on the inhale. And as the exhale, we really hinge forward from the hips here. So we're trying to create that length through the spine. Actually feel like you're actively pushing those sit bones towards the back of the room to allow that thigh-belly connection. So we're not trying to round through here. Moving with the breath, so on your inhale, maybe you lift, create a bit of space. And on your exhale, maybe you can sink that little bit deeper. And it's actually quite an active stretch, so we are keeping that engagement through the thighs, through the glutes, to allow us to melt forward here. Taking one more breath here. Maybe sign it out through the mouth if you need a release. And then slow as you need, placing any props to the side. Start to make your way back to your sit bones. Nice. Then we take it on the other side from here. So coming back to that mini flow. So start to turn onto the side again from here. Placing that left foot behind or in line with the left shoulder, wrapping the tricep to support you and taking that right foot in line with the right hip. A little bit of space, however much you need, flexing through that back foot, grounding down through both feet here. So feel that activation before we lift. Inhale. And as you exhale, start to ground down through the feet to lift up. But again, instead of going into that full back bend variation, feel like you can open that right hip, feeling strong in that hip. Breathe in here. One more breath. Then plant that hand. Start to pivot those feet all the way to face the front of the mat. And then guide yourself all the way up. So coming into pyramid pose on right side, taking your stance however you wish. Maybe pivoting that back foot for a little bit more stability. And take the hands to your hips. Right hip back, left hip forward. Inhale, start to send the body parallel. And take it to where it feels right for you, and then lowering down to your position. And feel the engagement of the thighs drawing together here in that stability. So we've got stability in our flexibility. One more breath here. Sending the breath deep into those areas of tension. Then from here, lifting up and walking the hands all the way round to the left. So coming into our wide-legged forward fold. So I'll turn around here to face you. So we lift up here first. We'll set our foundation. So taking the feet so that they're parallel to the mat or toes turn slightly inward for a little bit of softness in the knees. Again, engaging here. So draw that belly in. Feel the engagement of the thighs, hands to your hips. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, start to hinge forward from your hips, but finding that control as we lower all the way down. So options here. You can be on a block. You can take hands behind calves, ankles. Maybe you want to hook the two-piece fingers around the big toes to allow yourself to draw yourself down that little bit more. Or if you can, taking your hands in line with your heels and then really drawing that forehead down so the weight is shifted slightly forward. I'm keeping that engagement in my belly, in my thighs. And allow this inversion here as well to calm the mind. Protecting the knees, keeping them a little bit soft if you need to. And then gently start to come all the way back up. Hands to hips, and then we lift all the way up. Nice. Pivoting the heels in, the toes out. Inhale, the arms reach high. As you exhale, draw hands to heart center, open out through the hips, goddess pose. Nice. So feel like the hips are externally rotating here. Breathing into this strength. Take the hands on the inside of the thighs. Allow that right shoulder to drop into center, pushing away through the right hand just gently. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale back. Exhale forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Stay in here, or if you want to, lowering the hands down. So getting that real deep stretch into your hips, into the glutes. Nice. And wherever you are, pivot those back toes, frame the front foot, step back, downward facing dog. Nice. Pedal through the feet. Amazing. And then coming into your pigeon pose. So we inhale, take that right leg up to the sky. Start to draw right foot to the right hip and then open it out towards the left glute. Split hip dog opener. Breathe here. Then exhale. Start to draw the right knee into your chest and take the right knee over towards the right elbow. The left foot comes either 45 or it can come 90, flexing through the foot. And then sending that left foot back here. Coming onto the tips of the toes first just to find your stability. So finding that engagement, feeling those banders draw you up here. Finding a little bit of an active pigeon. If this feels really intense, then you can place a block underneath your right hip for support, or otherwise if this feels quite a lot, you can take this variation of figure 4. So finding your variation that feels right for you. We inhale, we lift and lengthen through the chest, releasing the back toes, and then exhale. Allow that body weight to just sink forward here. So working wherever feels right for you, keeping that foot flex. And then maybe melting the head down so you can take that blanket under your head. You can take a block. Doing what feels right here. Allowing that breath to be controlled, to be calm. As we breathe quite deeply, this stimulates our parasympathetic nervous system. So this is the opposite. This is to fight and flight. This is our rest and digest. So this is what we want to do. We want to calm the mind to allow the body to follow, to allow it to open up. If we try and force ourselves deep into these poses, then we can often create more tension in the body. So kind of the opposite of what we want. Take one more breath. And walking the hands all the way back up, taking them towards your hips, lifting up and out of the chest, so maybe taking a tiny back bend, feeling it through that left quad. Then plant the hands down, tuck under the left toes, extend that right leg, shake it out, release that tension, amazing. And then place that right foot down. We inhale, sweep the left leg high, three-legged dog. Bend the left foot towards left glute and then open it out, split hip dog, take it over to the right. Inhale it back to center, draw the left knee in towards the chest and take the left knee over towards the left wrist, the left foot towards right hand. So again, wherever feels right for you. Supporting yourself if you need to, taking the other variation of figure 4 stretch. So tucking under the back toe, find the active engagement first, inhale, and then exhale, release the foot and allow the body to sink forward. Take in any variation you want to. See if you can allow a little bit of heaviness in that right hip here as well. Again, releasing the jaw, the temples, the forehead, softening down through this pose. Taking one more breath. And then gently start to walk the fingertips all the way back towards the hips, maybe taking that little back bend, open through the chest. And then planting the hands down, come over on towards the left sit bone and swing that right leg out in front of you, nice. Again, shaking through the legs, maybe window wiping the knees from side to side, releasing any little bits of tension. Then start to shift the sit bones towards the heels And then rolling all the way down towards the mat. Nice, amazing, guys. And taking one very final pose, coming into your happy baby. So taking the knees out in line with the hips, flexing the feet to the sky. You can either hold down through the ankles, the inside or the outside of the feet. We inhale here. And then as you exhale, start to really send the tailbone down towards the mat, finding that grounding, and then allow the hands to be heavy here to draw the knees in towards the armpits. Maybe you want to be in stillness, maybe you want to rock from side to side, being a real happy little baby, extending one leg and the other. Just notice what you need. Maybe you're thinking, I've had enough of hamstrings, that's fine. And then drawing your knees together, draw those shins in towards, draw those knees in towards your body, and again releasing off with some circles here. Really nice. And then taking the legs out long. Taking hold of your hips, elongating through those sit bones. Taking the hands around the neck, drawing the neck in towards the chest, then releasing it down, hands rest beside you. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh out through the mouth. Amazing. Coming into a very well-deserved Shavasana. Allowing the body to be completely heavy now. Knowing that you no longer need to control the breath. You can come back to those gentle inhales and exhales. Softening through the lower body. Really sinking those hips into the mat. Feel like the calves are just melting down. The hamstrings are melting away. You're welcome to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you need. If you're ready to move out, start to draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug. And then allow the knees to rest down to either side that feels right for you. Maybe placing the hand under the head for a little pillow to support you. Taking a moment to notice how you feel right now. Maybe compared to how you first did when you started the practice. Maybe even earlier on this week. And when you're ready, keeping the eyes closed down, using the hand to guide you up, coming into a comfortable seated position at the top of your mat. And taking your hands together in Anjali Mudra prayer and resting your thumbs at your heart center. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And exhale another deep cleansing breath out. Really let it all go. Start to bow your head towards your hands in honor of yourself, in honor of the practice of yoga. Maybe you can use this compassion that you move with today. Maybe you can take this throughout the rest of your day. maybe even your week. And maybe you can share this compassion with others. Start to take your thumb towards your third eye centre, the space in between your eyebrows, and we'll all bow down to say namaste. Namaste. Amazing. Thank you so much for staying with that practice. So it is quite a deep, juicy one, so I hope you got what you needed from it. Yeah, let me know how you got on and have a great rest of your day or evening. See you later.